wasn't able to make it here. Garry is working hard, doing a top secret mission, but he's handling his business for sure. So Toddy teed it up for us. We mentioned we have two Sacramento Kings fans on. We have a Sacramento Celtic here. So there was a lot going on last week in the NBA draft. So Toddy, I'm going to swing it to you first. What were your thoughts on the NBA draft?
I was really surprised Ricochet went number one. I mean, that was kind of what it was gearing up towards. I'd say the last like 48 to like 24 hours of the draft he was trending to be the guy. I think Rob Dillingham is kind of the guy that a lot of people are like, I can't believe he went for what Kevin calls sixth graders in our group chat that we famously mention on the show a lot. If all it took was 2 sixth graders, why didn't we trade up for Robert Dillingham? And Kevin was a guy that was unwilling to trade into the top 10 for anybody in this draft. And I was like, well, Kev, like, why, Rob, if Rob's there, Cody Williams is there, why not try to make something shake? But this was kind of a lackluster draft, not too many guys. I think a guy that a lot of people who I thought probably should have went one was Stephon Castle, the guard from UConn. I thought he 6'7", combo guard, can't really shoot that well, as most guys in this draft. Is a guy that I think he'll play right away, probably start, to be honest. And he'll be a cornerstone piece for that San Antonio Spurs team. A couple of guys who kind of ended up going kind of shockingly falling. Jacoby Walters was a guy that Kevin was really into. I think the Kings were kind of high on. I think he ended up falling to Toronto at like 20-something. Kalel Ware, who we kind of saw a glimpse of in Summer League. Now it was against the Chinese national team. Let's chill out on who they were playing. But I thought he showed a lot of promise in his first couple of games in Summer League so far. But another slept on person who I thought kind of fell a little bit was Jared McCain to the Sixers. I thought that was a really solid pickup for the Sixers. You got a backup guard who can score the ball. He didn't play too well to start out his freshman year, but I feel like towards the end, going into the ACC tournament and into the tournament, he played fairly well, and that kind of shot his draft stock up. So probably missing out on some guys like Cody Williams to Utah. I thought was very interesting, a project guy. At one point in time was number one on people's boards. I'd say going into the season, one of those top lotto draft guys that a lot of people were kind of high on. I thought was a solid signing for them. Don't really know what Utah's trying to do because, you hear so many trade rumors about Lauri Markkanen. They have a young guard in Keontae George. They have another young guard coming off the bench of Colin Sexton. So you're kind of wondering what's Utah's path, what are they going to look like going forward. But Danny Ainge is the guy that's known to wheel and deal, I would know, because he drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, champions. So I would know that Danny Ainge is a guy that likes to wheel and deal. He likes to collect assets and trade for things. So not sure where Utah is going as a whole as a team, but those were some guys I kind of thought that was pretty interesting on where they went or if they fell to this. But I'd say overall the best place I thought for a guy to go was probably Stephon Castle to the Spurs. I thought he would have went a little bit higher, but I think he's going to be very good for the Spurs.
So, James, I asked Toddy about an overall NBA draft recap. So I have a different question for you. Could you give us 2 winners and 2 losers of the NBA draft?
I have to agree with Bonnie on the Spurs. I feel like, you gave Rob Dillingham away for 6th graders, but when I don't know, I didn't watch much college basketball last year, but I just knowing how the way Rob Dillingham plays, it didn't seem like a good fit there at the Spurs. I haven't watched much of Stephon Castle, but with the information that Bonnie's given, 6'7", and what I got when I was watching the draft is a lot of teams and a lot of people were saying he's very coachable. Of course, if you're going to Pop, that's going to be a great thing to have, a great quality. And then you are high in the draft lottery pick, pretty much should have been, and you're about to go there with the highest or the best draft pick since LeBron, arguably. So it's like looking like a great situation for the Spurs. And I wasn't too high on it at first, but I think the Kings did. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a win, really, but I think we did decent in the draft with what we were given. Now, actually, let me backtrack because Memphis got Zach Edey, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think that was actually a slept-on pick because he's not going to give you nothing crazy offensively coming into the league, but right now it's a big stock or just a big market for a solid individual in the paint that could clog it up, protect the rim, and then just get you rebounds and layups. Josh hopefully coming back next year, and then is Desmond Bane still over there as well?
Yes, sir.
So they got a good squad coming back. Marcus Smart, vet leader. He was just on the Celtics, so all that experience that they have that you just seen play out, he's got that too. So I think Memphis did a good job drafting Zach Edey. I'm surprised to not see him go a little bit higher. But it worked out for Memphis that they was able to grab him.
Definitely. I definitely have them as one of my winners because we have seen, especially with USA last year or maybe 2 years ago, that Jaren Jackson's not a 5. As much as he wants to be a 5, defensive player of the year, I put him in the same kind of box as you do a Bam Adebayo. They play 5 because they don't have a 5 next to them. If you have a 5 next to them, they're 4s. And I think Zach Edey's going to go in there and do exactly what they need. They don't need him to be the player of the year in college basketball. Go out there, 10 and 15 and 9. That's all we need.
Exactly.
You go out there, stretch the floor. He's a playmaker. He's an older guy, so he's able to jump in and play right away. So I definitely had the Grizzlies as one of my winners. Another one of my winners, like Toddy mentioned, Rob Dillingham and the Minnesota Timberwolves. For them to get Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr., they got in 2 guys that me and Toddy were texting every draft, every number, who's going here. And I told Toddy at 8 with Zach Edey. He's like, what's going on? I said, Toddy, this ain't a lottery team. This is a playoff team that just happened to be land in the lottery. So you're drafting for fit. We don't give a damn about projects. We want to win now. Like James mentioned, you have a Desmond Bane, a John Moran, a Jaren Jackson Jr. So to continue to add to this core, you got a Brandon Clark coming off an Achilles injury. So to see him come back, they got a lot of things going, and they just got rid of Steven Adams. So to fit Zach Edey in there, a perfect fit. Another winner I have, the Utah Jazz. Like Toddy mentioned, Cody Williams, a 2-way defender. We saw with the last 2 champions in the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics, that 2-way defenders, the more the merrier. And then for you to go get Isaiah Collier, who, if me and Toddy talked about this 12 months ago, we had him going number 1. He was the number 1 ranked player. So for him to go out there and deal with a lot of injuries at USC and just a lot of hype that they just couldn't live up to. And then the second pick of the second round, and Kyle Filipowski. I know there's a lot going on about why he fell in A, B, C, and D, but we're just going to keep it basketball. On the court, like Jason Tatum said, a lot of dudes are going to regret not taking him in the first. He's a do-it-all big man. I don't think he's going to be able to play the 5 efficiently. He had rebounding problems at Duke, so I definitely see that translating, but he can score the best of them. And like Toddy said, what are the Jazz doing? He mentioned a guy like Colin Sexton. Is he going to be around now that they have Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, when you give the young guys to rock? Is Laurie going to be there? Is Cody got to kind of step into that role? We're going to see. And a lot of people are going to hate this. I think the Lakers were one of the winners of the draft. For Dalton Connect to fall to 17 is insane. And a lot of guys are texting me like, Kevin, like, he did this, he did that. I'm like, dude, he's our age. You know what I mean? He's been around the block a couple of times. He's a 3-time transfer. He started off at a community college. So for him to be a 5-year guy, it's like, yeah, you did this, but the NBA is younger and younger as it is. That's why a perfect example is Justin Edwards, a young guy. Me and Ty talk about him all the time. You got 5-star kids coming in right after you. You gotta sit the pine for them, or you gotta go to the NBA. You're younger, going to the NBA, and you gotta go do what you gotta do. And then of course, Bronny James. We'll have him in the next topic, so I won't get into too much. But a lot of people are crazy about it. What I keep telling people is, what the hell else we got to get at 55?
Thank you.
Now look, if they drafted him at 17, I get it. Pitchforks, everything. 55, what the hell else is he going to get at 55? You might as well sell some extra tickets. You know?
I might as well go try to get LeBron James Jr. Dog. Like if you have LeBron, like you said, we're gonna get into him, but I'm glad somebody is on that hype as well.
Oh,
Don't
definitely.
draft him, or we're going to Australia.
Dang. Tony thought I was lying. As soon as I heard him say that, I text Tony.
Do you want a job? Oh,
Yeah, don't draft Bronny James. But James mentioned it a little bit. I'm going to get into a lot more detail. One of the losers of the draft, Sacramento Kings. I love it. We got DeMar. We're doing all good.
Clips. He does our clips. Clip this.
So,
please clip this.
For clip purposes, I'm going to restart. So one of the losers of the NBA draft has to be the Sacramento Kings. I know James and I are diehard fans, but I think we're just replaying a movie from 2 years ago with Davion Mitchell. You know, Devin Carter's an older guy. Like we just said with Dalton Connect, so those guys tend to fall. And like Toddy mentioned in his monologue, 2 6th graders. If the goal was to go and get a point guard, why not trade up and get the best point guard? Mm-hmm. Why are we gonna get another guy like Davion Mitchell when we could have had Dalton Connect, Khalil Ware, we could have had Jacoby Walters.
Reed Shepherd?
No, not Reed. I don't think Reed was the best point guard in the draft. I think it was Rob. So I think definitely trading up, but everyone's saying that he's better than Davion at this. He's better than Davion at that. They both don't do a lot of things well.
Yeah.
We drafted a guy who's hurt. He can't even play in Summer League again. The only thing
I didn't know he was hurt either.
He has over him is he's an inch taller. He's 2 inches taller, 1.5 inches. So people are saying like, yo, he's taller. He scored more points. Devin Carter, D1 is D1, my guy, but we're not going to compare Providence stats to Baylor. We're not going to compare a national champ.
Kev didn't watch Big East basketball.
Toddy, you only did it because you bet. If you had no money in it, you not waking up on a Saturday morning saying, Georgetown, Providence, let me go ahead and clear my schedule.
Oh, just know I was locked into a lot of Providence.
Maybe takes a nap. I'm locked in. But they're both defensive guys, both guys that in their scouting reports on Bleacher Reports that have offensive versatility, great offensive potential, winners. What does that mean at the next level? If we just saw this, he's not a guy who's going to be able to extend the floor. And Davion was a better scorer than him. So we saw Davion go out there and struggle.
I will push back on that.
I'll push back on that. You want to put some numbers on the board?
I mean, you could do numbers.
We got 44% three from Davion and 36.
In college?
College, yeah.
I think he's a better scorer.
He averaged 5 more points, but like I said, we're not going to sit here and compare Baylor to Providence.
He might have shot the ball better, but I think Devin Carter is a better scorer than Davion was.
And Devin Carter is a hell of a rebounder.
Watch tape.
I think a hell of a rebounder. I had to watch the tape because I had no idea who he was. But I just don't know what this really does for us. We're drafting him saying you're going to be a backup point guard. And I know this draft wasn't this draft wasn't that. If we're bringing in people to support the bench and be a part of the culture, wouldn't you want to kind of fit the age gap, like the age window? He's never going to be a starting point guard here. So if he's not okay in 3 years, he's not going to sign a rookie extension because he doesn't want to play behind De'Aaron Fox. Like Toddy and I talk about all the time, De'Aaron Fox declined a paycheck because he wants that all-NBA money. He gets that all-NBA money. Devin Carter's sitting there holding a clipboard. You know what I'm saying? Get splinters in his ass. And if you think about it, he's really not the second point guard either because they're going to let Malik Monk be the second point guard. So if we're bringing in rotational pieces and everyone's talking about we're going to get rid of Kevin Huerter, why not bring in a Dalton Connect that could replace a Kevin Huerter? We have guards on guards on guards, and I get it. Keon Ellis might be a bust and this and that, but what he showed us is what Devin Carter's going to give us. So are we going to move Keon now? Like, We have so many guards and so many positions that we could have helped in, and I just think guard was the wrong choice.
Not yet. When we drafted a guard, I was just sitting there like my stomach curled up. Just like you just said. At the time, we had Davion, Keon, Fox, Monk. Don't forget about Kobe Jones, and then we also had it was just a lot. We have a lot of guards. And going back to what you said, are we going to move Keon Ellis out? Hell no. If we move Keon Ellis out, like, I'm going to be high. Just because from what he showed us coming in such a short time, he handled the poise of becoming a starter in a very big, or what's the word? I don't have a better word, but a hostile environment when you go play for the Kings, when you go play at Golden One. He handled that really well. And so on Devin Carter, I agree. Like, it's just kind of like we got the same player that we did in Davion Mitchell. He may have a bit more tools to be an offensive threat than Davion. Davion just haven't been so short. And I know an inch or two ain't too much better, but it's better. And he has a bit lengthy of a wingspan. I don't see him doing much for us besides coming in, hey, Keon or Fox needs a break guarding this dude. Come give us 5-6 minutes hard defense.
Damn.
I just don't see it because he's not going to get the ball to score. There's not going to be a single time where they're like, go get a bucket. Because if he's on the floor, then Malik Monk's on the floor or Fox is on the floor. Like, they're not going to leave him out there by himself. So you look at it, and it's like at the guard play, we have Fox, great scorer. Malik Monk, I won't say great scorer, but very, like, dangerous scorer. He might explode and give you 30. They're going to be running stuff for him. We just acquired, who we acquired. So, like, it's more and more people that are going to be seeing the ball. So if he's going to come in, he wants to be effective and make a name for himself in the league. He got to come in and play lockdown defense and do it every time he's on the floor. But going back to what the Kings are thinking, I have no idea. I don't know who's up there in the office and stuff, but I feel like they just be sitting around the table talking about the next celebrity they're going to try to get courtside. And then when their number is called, they're like, who's on the board? So I don't know. I would have liked to see us get somebody, a big man or something, try to do what we're doing with Alex Lynn. But, the chips still have to go.
Could have went a lot of different options, but unfortunately, we never know though. Because I like Shaun, like I told Shaun, I was at my bachelor party watching the draft 3 years ago. At number 4, it's Keegan Murray. I wanted Shaedon Sharp. I wanted Jaden Ivey. Boo-hooing, and Keegan's not bad. He could be better, but he's better than Jaden Ivey and Shaedon Sharp. So,
not yet. Keegan, I was like, this situation with Devin Carter was me when we drafted Keegan. I'm like, who is this dude? Like, and it turns out to be okay. If Devin Carter can improve the way Davion improved this year, because Davion became a way better shooter this year and a bit more reliable on offense, if he can just show steadily improvement like that, then I'm all good for it. But it goes back to say, like, how long are we really going to have this dude if he's, a bit older of a player, not really trying to play behind people.
He's 23. He's trying to get it and go.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that he's hurt either.
I didn't know.
We knew it. It's not like it was a surprise. We went in there saying, oh, you're hurt? Come on. Sacramento's where it's at. And it's like, I know it's different management, so I can't put this on Monty and Vivek. We could have drafted Luka, and the reason we didn't draft Luka is because we had too many guards. That's all I'm saying. And now we have a shit ton.